The Gaze kitgun chamber is, in my opinion, an underappreciated kitgun chamber. Especially the secondary version, it's probably my favorite secondary kitgun. The Gaze chamber fires a continuous laser beam of radioactive damage. The primary Gaze kitgun fires a laser beam that creates a spherical area of 3 meters at the zone of impact or maximum beam range that deals full weapon damage and has punch through. So this weapon works best if you have a way of grouping up enemies. The grip will determine the range of the Gaze beam. Since the difference in damage between the brash and the tremor grip is only 8 points and the difference in range is almost double, I'd say go with more range. I'm just a bit stubborn and always go with more damage. The loader will affect the critical chance, critical multiplier, status chance, magazine size and reload speed. From the Tier 3 Fortuna loaders, I'd recommend the Stitch for its high critical chance and multiplier, decent status chance and bigger magazine. From the Tier 4 Fortuna loaders, my favorite is the Killstream, with its highest critical chance and multiplier and fast reload speed. Splat is also a good choice if you want a bit more magazine size. The infested loaders from the Necralisk are all good choices with their balanced critical and status chance, but with slower reload speeds. The Macro Thymoid is in my opinion the best choice with the magazine of 85 and critical and status chance of 28%. First I will show you my status kitgun, with the Shrewd Grip and Flutterfire loader. This build has 144% status chance with heat, radiation and viral damage. You can use heavy caliber with the Gaze kitguns since accuracy has no effect on the beam. This build is very good if you want to use it as a primer for condition overload. You can also use the Viral and Hunter munitions build, it just takes a long time to kill enemies. Personally I don't really like this configuration and I generally don't build status kitguns. The second configuration has mixed stats, made with the Acroyd loader and Steady Slam grip. With the Viral, Fire and Hunter munitions it actually works quite well. And the build only requires 3 forma. You could switch out thermite rounds for vital sense, speed trigger, rifle aptitude or whatever else you like. My personal favorite is the max damage critical configuration, with the Tremor Grip and Killstream loader. The Hunter munitions and Viral build is very good, it just requires 6 forma. The Heat and Corrosive build also does quite well, especially if you aim for headshots. With Argon Scope, headshots will actually let you hit orange crits. If you replace Argon Scope with Thermite rounds you will get another element and more status chance. You can also use it as a primer for condition overload. The primary Gaze kitgun is fun to use in lower levels and non-steel path missions, but can also be used to prime enemies for condition overload. The Gaze secondary version fires a single laser beam with 1 meter punch through that can chain to an enemy within 5 meters and then chain again, up to maximum of 2 chains. The beam deals innate radiation and puncture damage. The grip will determine your beam range. Like with the primary version, you should build for more range since the difference in damage isn't significant. So it's best to take the Gibber. I have the same recommendations for loaders as the primary version, Stitch from the Tier 3 Fortuna Kitguns because of its high critical chance, Killstream or Splat from Tier 4 loaders, and Macro Thymoid from the infested loaders. My favorite configuration uses the Haymaker grip and Killstream loader. When building for critical damage the Killstream or Splat will give you over 100% critical chance with some chance to hit orange crits. and if you use hydraulic crosshairs instead of heated charge, you can get even more orange crits. The second configuration I'd recommend uses the macro thymoid loader and ulnaris grip. It has more status, but less critical chance, and a magazine of 85. This build uses lethal torrent instead of barrel diffusion for more fire rate, which means more status chance. The secondary gaze kitgun is my favorite secondary to use in the steel path. While you can use it in a similar way to the Kuva Nucor to prime status effects for your melee weapon, it doesn't chain to as many enemies, and the chains do less damage. The gaze secondary deals more critical damage and more damage to the first enemy in the chain. I don't think it's better than the Kuva Nucor, but I like the gaze secondary better.